Feedback, a short 3-segment compilation with some of the guidelines and best practices. Segment 1 is 2 extracts from 2 TED Talks, one by Bill Gates, the other by Atul Gawande, both of which encourage and even evangelize feedback. The second segment is a short video that I made summarizing some guidelines and best practices, and I used this video at the beginning of a feedback session, and I ask everyone to give me feedback how to improve that video. And this creates a level of comfort giving each other feedback subsequently. The third segment is a series of 10 slides with best practices and some guidelines that I have put together.
Everyone needs a coach. It doesn't matter whether you're a basketball player, a tennis player, a gymnast, or a bridge player. My bridge coach, Sharon Osberg, says there are more pictures of the back of her head than anyone else's in the world. Sorry, Sharon. Here you go. We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve.
I don't come to you today as an expert. I come to you as someone who has been really interested in how I get better at what I do and how we all do. I think it's not just how good you are now, I think it's how good you're gonna be that really matters. How do professionals get better at what they do? How do they get great? And there are 2 views about this. One is the traditional pedagogical view. That is that you go to school, you study, you practice, you learn, you graduate, and then you go out into the world and you make your way on your own. Now, the contrasting view comes out of sports. And they say, you are never done. Everybody needs a coach. Everyone, the greatest in the world, needs a coach. So I tried to think about this as a surgeon. Pay someone to come into my operating room, observe me, and critique me. It seems absurd. Expertise means not needing to be coached. So then which view is right? I decided to ask, of all people, Itzhak Perlman. So we ended up having an almost 2-hour conversation about how he got to where he got in his career. And I asked him, I said, why don't violinists have coaches? And he said, I don't know, but I always had a coach. Okay, I'll try a coach. So I asked a former professor of mine who had retired, his name is Bob Osteen, and he agreed to come to my operating room and observe me. The case, I remember that first case, it went beautifully. I didn't think there would be anything much he'd have to say when we were done. Instead, he had a whole page of dense with notes.
Our topic is feedback. Question: why do we solicit or give feedback? Answer: for improvement. This above all, for improvement. And how do we give feedback? Follow the golden rule. Give feedback to others the way you would like to receive feedback. Feedback is a well-conducted feedback session is so much more than just evaluation or coaching. It is a safe space in which all feel obligated to contribute to improvement by sharing what they observed, what they thought, what they felt. Yes, proficiency and skill while speaking are important, but they are not as essential as a focus on we must improve. Indeed, I would say the greatest commandment of feedback is make us care. Give feedback in such a way, receive feedback in such a way that we all care more about improvement. We want to improve. Now, what follow-up action can you take if you receive feedback regularly? You're going to receive a lot. You can't incorporate it all. Top 2 criteria. If you hear something frequently, if it's said often, then take action. Or if you come across something that changes your perspective, your point of view, That can help you to improve. For example, I could constantly argue that I'm seeing a rectangle and this is rectangle, while someone else might say to me, no, no, no. From another point of view, it could be viewed as a circle. It is these different forms of perspective that actually enhance empathy between the listener and the audience. So, act on feedback where you have a change of perspective or where you hear something very frequently. I joined Toastmasters and was active for 8 years, and I saw hundreds of people grow and shine, and feedback was one of the key components why that happened. Indeed, feedback that I quite often got regularly is that you don't smile enough, you're too serious, you're too oratorical, be more friendly, be more conversational. That feedback was worth its weight in gold, and I heard it often. Let's summarize. Why feedback? For improvement. How? Golden rule. Top 2 characteristics of successful feedback: frequency and intention. The greatest feedback commandment: make us care. Let me close by requesting you, if you can, give me any feedback that might help me to improve my future videos. Thank you. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. A recommendation: check out the HBR Harvard Business Review article called How to Make Feedback Feel Normal by Joseph Grenny. It's excellent. I'll put a link in the description. A final reminder from both Bill Gates and Atul Gawande: we all need feedback. That is how we get better. Everybody needs a coach. And here's a final thought, an observation. It has been observed that the time delay between a problem arising or surfacing to the time it is addressed or discussed with a difficult conversation with feedback is a fairly good measure of the health of a relationship, of a team, or even an organization. If the time gap is long, the less healthy is the relationship. If the time gap is short or immediate, the more healthy is the relationship, one-on-one, team, or even in the organization. So one final time, let me encourage you. Seek more feedback, give more feedback, and contribute to the creation of a culture where feedback feels normal. That's how we all get better.